All right, here's a little Blues Day Tuesday easy blues jam. We're going to do some scales where we can do some solos, and we're going to play an 8-bar blues and a 12-bar blues and pick a couple different keys. So this will be an easy jam along. So we're going to start in the key of A. We're going to have our A7. Do that like 4 times. We'll go down to D7. And we're going to do those 2 back and forth. This is going to be an 8-bar blues. So let's do that together to get started. 2, 3, 4. Down to D7. And then back. D7 again. Now we're going E7. So that's the open 1, open, open. Back to D7. A7. And we'll end on the E7. Okay, so the A7 is our 1 chord. That's our home bass chord. Then when we come down to the D chord, that's our 4 chord. That's the 4th note of the A scale is why they call that. And then the 5th one is the E. So like A, B, C sharp, D, and E. Those are the first 5 notes in the key of A. So we got the A7. That's the 1 chord. We go down to the 4 chord. We go back to the 1, back to the 4. And then we start what's called our turnaround. That's going to be the 5 chord, that E7, down to the 4 chord, which is the D7, then the 1 chord, and the final turnaround back to the 5 chord. And then it all starts over again. So A to D, E to D, and then A to E. That's going to be our 8-bar blues. So let's try that. 2, 3, 4. Down to the 4 chord, the D, and back to D, and then we begin our turnaround. We got the E to D, we got A to E, and then we start all over again, back on the A. That's the 1 to the 4, we do it again. Then our 5 starts the turnaround to the 4, to the 1, to the 5. Then we'll end on the A7. Okay, that was an 8-bar blues in A. Now we could add something to that. We could add more of a bluesy beat. So that's like 1 and 2 and but we're skipping the and. So this is kind of a blues shuffle type thing, a swing beat, where you think of a triplet, 1 and but you move the middle one out of there. So you just end it with 1, 2, 3, 4, that kind of thing. So here we go with that. 3, 4, 1, 2, down to the D, back to A. D. Now we're going to have our turnaround to D, back to A, to E. Okay, one more time through all the way. A, down to D. And that's 1 to 4. We'll do that again. Turn around. We'll end on the A. Okay, so that's our basic 8-bar blues. So we're going to do a 12-bar blues just by adding some chords to that. So we'll have A, down to the D. Now this time, we're going to do the A twice. And then down to the D. 3, 4, we're going to do the D twice. And this is how you extend it out to the 12 bars. Do the A twice. There's the second one. And then our turnaround will be the same. we would start again. So that's 1 to 4. Do the 1 twice. Back to the D. Back to A. And then we're going to have our turnaround, E7, the D7, A7, to E7. And then we're going to end on the A. Okay, then there's a scale we can do. We start up here in the 7th fret of the big string. We have 7, 5, 7, 5, 8, 5, 8. You might use this other finger to get over there to make it a little easier to use than the pinky, up to you. We could also throw that 5 in there before the 7, but the 7 is our home bass. That note is also our home bass, our root note for the key of A, so those are A notes. So when you play the blues scale, do stuff like that and come up with your own little solos. You could also use these 10s up here. 10, 8, 10, 8. You could use this 9 here to slide you back. So those are ways to get up into higher notes up here. It's good to use that one because that one kind of gives you a finger up here. You could go up to that 12. If you wanted to add some notes, so you have all those different notes to look at. You try a little stuff like that. You try this little blues thing. So that's going into the, you could use either of these fingers you want. But I'm sliding into the 9 on the 3rd string, down to that 8 down there. So that's a real common blues kind of sound. So you have all these notes. So I'm going to play the chord progression. How about you guys try to take a solo with that scale? That's the A minor pentatonic blues scale. And when we add this, that's the, so this like, just like that is the pentatonic minor. Now when we start adding in that extra bluesy note, then we have the official blues scale with the flat 5th included. Okay, so I'm going to play that A 12 bar. You guys jam on that scale. 3, 4. Keep it going. Now here we're going to wrap it up. So try to find an A to end on. That would have been that one or that one. Okay, so let's pick a different key. Let's do the key of D. So we're going to start on the D7. We're going to go to the G7. Opens with the 1 there. So D7, G7, and A7. Okay, so what you have to do is you're going to be in the key of D. So for this one, we could start down here. Open 3, open 2. 1, 3, 1, 3. And you could take that up to 5, 4, 3, 1, 3, 1, and then 2, 1, open if you want an extra note, 3, open. So that's your D blues scale. And I'm going to play the 12-bar blues in D. So I'll call off the chords, but you can go ahead and jam in that scale if you want. Okay, so D blues. Here we go. 3, 4. G7. Back to D7 twice. G7. Back to D7. A7. G7. D7. Final turnaround to A7. Let me start again. And as long as you're not just going up and down the scale and you're doing something a little different, then you're improvising, you're playing the blues, you're making your own solos, making your own music. End on D. Okay, if you were in the key of G, you'd start with G7, you'd go to C7, 2, 3, 1, open. You'd have G, you'd have C7, you'd have D7. And it would be the same kind of patterns. If you're in the key of E, you'd have E, E7, A7, and B7 would be your 3 chords. That'd be the 1, the 4, and the 5. Okay, so on one of these next lessons, we'll get into if you wanted to be in any of those flat keys to play the blues. Okay, but what you do to find your scale is you go on this big string with your ring finger and you find the note. Say, here's a G. And you would play that same scale up in there, and you could be playing blues in that key. And there's plenty of backing tracks you can find on YouTube, so you might go find one and you can just keep jamming on that scale and pick whatever key you like. So this would be key of A up here. Key of B. Okay, so that's how you find them all. So, all right, thanks for watching Damon's Baritone Uke Joint. Happy Tuesday, Blues Day. Every Tuesday, I'm going to try to do a little blues lesson. And so we'll talk to you soon. Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching.